Shalom, shalom. Today's lesson is going to be on the Lunar Sabbath. It's just going to be a quick summary on, different pieces of information that I've put together that I feel it's important to share. So we'll start into it. Firstly, I just want to say that none of this is my opinion. Okay, this is coming straight from Scripture. All right, and also I'll be breaking down a couple Hebrew words. So just get that in your mind, right? It's not my opinion at all. It's just Scripture speaking. So yeah, let's start. The book of Psalms, chapter 104, verse 19, says that the moon was appointed for appointed times, for muadim. That's a Hebrew word for appointed times. Muadim. It means festivals and also feast days. Okay, so they're Yah's appointed times. So, and it says here that the moon was appointed for the muadim, for the appointed times. Right, so keep that in mind. All Torah-observant believers have a very good understanding of Leviticus chapter 23, which basically lists and outlines all the feast days or all the muadim of Yah. Okay, and it's funny how many people overlook the fact that the weekly Sabbath is the first listed of the muadim, of the appointed times, of his feast days. Okay, so if you can put one and one together, all right, you'll see that the moon was appointed for muadim, for feast days, for appointed times, and the Sabbath is the first of the muadim, the appointed times and feast days. Okay, so yeah, therefore the moon was appointed for the Sabbath. So yeah, it's really simple, but it's so overlooked and violently denied. Why is that, you ask? Because I'd hate to say it, but people are afraid of being different. They're afraid of being the black sheep. They're afraid of just the fear of rejection in itself. And that in itself, that mindset, that's a very detrimental mindset to have. We should be following Scripture, following the Most High Yahuwah, instead of worrying about what man will think of us. Okay, so yeah, it's by no means the most popular doctrine out there, but nevertheless, that's nothing to discredit it alone. So the Lunar Sabbath is in a way almost like a test. I know the first time I heard about it, I've heard other people in the scriptural circles out there of believers putting heaps of negativity towards it. They associate it with being evil, pretty much. So I just thought, okay, well, they must be right. I like these brothers and sisters, so why would they be wrong about that? So I denied it without even looking into it. Right here, it says in Psalms, the book of Psalms, chapter 18, verse 13, "He who answers a matter before hearing it is folly and shame unto him." Okay, that was shameful of me, to deny the Lunar Sabbath without looking into it. That's foolish. And according to Einstein, it's a height of ignorance. So we got to keep an open mind. We got to look into it ourselves. We can't just rely on what other people say about it, or we got to lean on our own understanding. All right. So we'll move on. The enemy has devised a plan whereby it's pretty much a dogfight between whose Sabbath is right, and the focal point for that, I believe, is Saturday versus Sunday. They're constantly battling it out, and the fact of the matter is they don't even realize that they're being distracted over here while the real truth's back there. They're so consumed in this, and we have Rome to blame for that. Okay, Constantine, in fact, he was the one that changed the true original scriptural calendar of Yah, which was originally a lunar and calculated one. Lunar and observational one, to the Gregorian calendar today, which is a solar and calculated one, which is completely opposite to to Yahuwah's lunar and observational. Alright, yeah, so, Rome's pretty much an arch enemy of Yah, and to trust in a man-made, pagan, Babylonian, corrupt Roman calendar, that in itself has, if you follow that and you actually think the Sabbath is on Saturday. I'm sorry for using that word Saturday, because I know it has its roots in paganism. But if you honestly can trust in a man-made, corrupt, Babylonian, Gregorian calendar, then that seriously needs looking at, because, why we're putting trust in paganism over Yah, over our Most High Yahuwah. So, and also one thing you must realize is that Saturday was never originally the original true seventh day of the Gregorian calendar. It was the first day of the week. Then it got changed to the seventh. Alright? That's proof, that's fact right there. Okay, and also the months of the year have been changed. Look at December, Dec, that means 10. Okay, what's it? It's the 12th month of the year now. You look at September, Sept means 7. Okay, it's the 9th month of the year. So you just have to realize that not only have the order of the days of the week been changed, but so too have the months of the year. We can't trust this man-made pagan calendar. Alright, we got to trust Yah's calendar, and that's put in the sky where no man can touch. Okay, so it's food for thought right there, and you seriously should not be following paganism. And following a Saturday Sabbath is in fact trusting in paganism. It's sad, and there's no proof for the Saturday Sabbath other than merely trusting and having faith, blind faith in paganism. It's simple as that. There's no proof. So yeah, paganism's not something that sits well with the Most High, to say the least. Right? They don't mix. His truth is not anything to do with paganism. So let me ask you a question. If you're on a deserted island, you're unconscious for a year or two. Okay, you have no calendar, no watch, no nothing. It's just the clothes that you have on your back. You've got nothing else, and you're completely disorientated. How will you know when the Sabbath day is? How will you know when the true Sabbath day is? If you're completely disorientated and don't have any pagan calendar to trust in. Alright, you're going to be pretty without a hope, to say the least. Alright, you've got no hope if you're just relying on Saturday being the Sabbath, and you've got no one to tell you what day it is. Okay, the answer is, how do you know which day the Sabbath is on? The answer is, just look at the phases of the moon. As I said before, Yahuwah's put it in the sky where no man can touch. Okay, so that in itself is something to think about, because if you're in the wilderness, these end times, people getting, the American government enforcing, well, I do believe they will enforce it rather soon, but the RFID chips, and it's the 23rd of March 2012 today, and that's a day that is supposed to be enforced in America. What happens if we're in the wilderness? What happens if we have to escape civilization because cash doesn't work anymore? We have to get a chip if we want to buy or sell. We have to rely off Yahuwah's true calendar and following the phases of the moon. The word month comes from moon, so that in itself, it has a direct link to Yahuwah's calendar. Alright, so we just have to get back to that, the originality, not paganism. Another thing people must realize is that the whole concept of a 7-day unending, eternal, perpetual, never-ending cycle of the Sabbath, a 7-day cycle, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Sabbath, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Sabbath, forever and ever, perpetually. That's not only unscriptural, but it's illogical. new moon days aren't work days. They're not work days. They're not servile work days. And that's found in the book of Amos, chapter 8, verse 4 to 6, and also Ezekiel, chapter 46, verse 1. Alright, so this alone disproves this theory of an eternal unbroken 7-day cycle. That's not Yahuwah's true calendar at all. That's not how he works. The Sabbath is the 7th day, yes, but it's not every second day, every 7th day, I should say. Alright, perpetually. It's not every 7 days. It's the 7th day of Yahuwah's week, not man's. Okay, and due to that, due to the fact that Scripture says the new moon day is not a work day, that means that the first work day is in fact on the second. Alright, so day 1 of the month, day 1 of the moon, is new moon festival day. Okay, day 2 is the first work day. Okay, because you can't do any work on new moon day, which is day 1. So day 2 is the first work day. So then you count 6 work days, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then the Sabbath will fall on the 8th day of the month. It's simple, and yet people try and overcomplicate it. It's man that overcomplicates it, not Yahuwah. Alright, his truths are never complicated. You'll not find one Sabbath mentioned in Scripture that doesn't fall on Yahuwah's Sabbath days. And his Sabbath days are always, without fail, the 8th, the 15th, the 22nd, and the 29th of the month, or of the moon. So yeah, this video, I'm hoping to open people's eyes to the fact that you can't trust in a man-made Gregorian, Babylonian, Roman calendar, which is a Gregorian calendar. You can't trust a Saturday Sabbath because frankly it's got no truth. It's got no scriptural proof behind it. It's got no proof to support that Saturday is in fact the original 7th day of creation. Not only that, but new moon days, they break up the 7 days every so often. Okay, and people think there's leftover days with the Lunar Sabbath. There's no leftover days. If a month has 30 days, then new moon festival days, which is the dark moon, if there's 30 days in a month, then that merely means there's 2 new moon festival days, just as it says in the first book of Samuel chapter 20. And if there's 29 days in a month, then that's even simpler. That's only 1 new moon festival day. Okay, so it's not complicated at all. Alright, people try and overcomplicate it when it's just ridiculous. So, and another thing, the moon being, they discredit the Lunar Sabbath because they think that the moon was made, they're not sure why the 7th day is as it is in creation when the moon was only built on, created on the 4th day. Well, the same concept applies with Adam. Was he born a newborn baby? I doubt it. I think that Adam was created, in his 30s, for example, in his prime. The same concept applies to the moon. I doubt the moon was created to have no light on it. I personally think that Yahuwah, it just makes sense that Yahuwah created the moon with 4 days worth of light on it. It's common sense. And, the Lunar Sabbath isn't complicated at all. And you just got to be willing to put a bit of effort in to understand these things. I mean, and don't follow the crowd, because the crowd 99.999% of the time has nothing to do with Yahuwah. In fact, it never has anything to do with Yahuwah. Yahuwah always has his remnant, and it's not always popular, but that's something you're just going to have to face in life. We're called to live set apart. That's all part of life. Okay, so I hope this has been insightful, and I pray that it does, that it is received with ears to hear and an open heart. Yeah, that's all for today, family. But yeah, just may Yahuwah be with you, and shalom for now.